Hello, welcome back to Two Nigerian Women. We are in the same room for the first time.
Yes. And it feels good. It does feel very different. Because I'm in my own space and she's in her own space, and now I'm sharing her space with her.
There
That's
we go.
good.
We should get a studio, shouldn't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
We do.
that's what we need. We need a studio. Let's make it happen.
Yes.
Yeah, please subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to us on, so that you can be kept updated on when we are live with a new episode, and also follow us on our social platforms as well.
And don't forget to share.
Please share. Tell people about the good work we're doing here.
Yes.
So my name is Ibukun.
And my name still remains Abidemi. And welcome to
Nigerian Women.
Yeah.
So we're talking about back to school.
That is $1 million question. Back to school.
How do you feel?
That is the question actually. How do you feel about going back to school? Your children, as mothers, as siblings, even as the children are going back to school, how has it impacted you? I have a daughter that was so happy she was going back to school. She wasn't interested in her friends. She was just happy to be back. Her daddy had to actually take a picture for me and send it while they were in the car park. I don't remember being this excited about school. And it's a new class. It's new everything. Yes, a new year. But we don't have to deal with fees. Not everyone deals with fees as such. But I know in Nigeria it's very different, and I know a lot of people are there's been a whole lot that's gone on since the elections, the change of government, and everything has gone up, the fuel subsidy, and I know a lot of parents are struggling to pay or even afford to. And then there's the whole school bag, new textbooks, new books, big thing, uniform, shoes, water bottles, stationery. We don't necessarily have to just school bag and shoes. There's no textbooks as such because they're provided by the government. But it is a very, very deep hole in our pockets when you think about all that needs to go. And then the emotional struggle that comes with it, because not everyone is excited about going back to school.
Yes, there is the mental health issue, which is so prevalent now, where some children they're not feeling school. Let's be honest. They've never felt school. They go out of obligation or forced. You're dragged. Dragged to school. So being sensitive in the right way, because you could be oversensitive as well. Being sensitive in the right way to your children's needs and preparing them mentally for being back at school is something that we as parents are so, are so responsible for, because we are custodians of the children until they become adults and then can fly the nest, as we say. But in the meantime, we need to make sure they get educated so that they can contribute to society and be responsible humans, and okay, your job is done and you're fine and you're happy. But I don't know how I feel about back to school, because as you wouldn't know, we home educate our children. This came about because of COVID. Long story, we'll share about it another day. It's still the same expense in buying the materials, ensuring their extracurricular activities, even more so than, if you will, conventional school, because we are on it. We need to make sure they have access to sports and other learning platforms, other things, like taking them out to see zoo and all of that. It is a lot, and it's also time. It is
so
time.
It's not, a lot of people think homeschooling is easy. It actually is not easy. I was speaking to your husband on Friday after church, and he goes like, I'm going to order the books. I said, do you buy books? I thought there's a whole sharing thing. Said, no, you have to buy the books.
No, you have to.
And that was the first time I heard about it, because my kids are not homeschooled. But having said that, the pressure on parents is much. Like, I have a son that is very excited to go back to school, which I'm happy about, because when they are not happy, it impacts on you as a parent. You're worried, you're stressed. Oh, I hope they come back with something good. I hope, like, he had football tryouts in school yesterday, and I was very excited about going. Left to me, I didn't want to put my hopes up, because I didn't want him to come back from that experience and say, oh, I didn't look forward to it. I wish I didn't go. But he was quite happy when I picked him up. So I'm happy that he's happy, but the main test, when he resumes later this week, we will know Besides praying for them and sending them off, because I make it a point of duty to do that, commit their day into God's hands and make sure that everything's well. God arranged their steps when it comes to their friends, when it comes to even their teachers, their relationship with their teachers, because some children move on to a new class with new teachers. I'm lucky one child is still in the same class with the same teacher, while the other child is moving on with a new teacher, and he's not looking forward to the teacher. I already told me about that.
Oh dear.
And there are not so many in that class. But
well, is the teacher known? Like he knows about
the teacher, but he prefers the old I think they call it tutor or something. But yeah, he prefers the old one, which was very nice, a very nice man. And he went to the school as well. But this one, he's not really happy about it. But I just said, you know what? You're not jollof rice, not that you ice cream. You can't like everything, and everyone can't like you.
No, it's
and I think
so true.
We as parents need to realize that, because I found myself when I was in school, going to school, having to please people. I was speaking with my son today while I was on my way to your house, and I went like, I'm raising such amazing children, because I definitely know that when I was younger, the self-awareness and being conscious and even confidence, I didn't really have it.
No.
So I was all out to please, and I don't even remember. I schooled I went to 4 different primary schools. My dad was in the military, so I never stayed in one place.
Yeah.
So I started in Lagos, in Ikeja. I went to Kaduna. I came to Lagos. I went to 3, and I came to Lagos. My brother, I think my sister did 4, and yeah. So, and then I came back to Lagos in VI. But I don't remember my experience in Kaduna, because I just found myself trying to make people like me. And which is very sad. As children, we don't need any extra pressure. Just be a child and enjoy being a child. And I never looked forward to going back to school, because my school, they believed in corporal punishment. Yeah, corporal punishment.
Yeah.
And then that was a very big thing. So teachers always had sticks and beating, and
it was the order of day in Nigeria.
You were beating for everything.
Oh yeah,
even coming late.
Oh,
you were beating
I collected,
and so that was
so many.
And I lived within the premises where the school was. But I was scared. My heart was literally in my throat for everything. Names of noisemakers, not doing your assignment well, not finishing on time, not understanding the lesson. And again, there was not much awareness on even people with special needs. Now when I look back, there were a lot of people that struggled, but they were called mumu. That was saying for them.
That it's so
like, Olodo, how are you? Shame. Like, they were also, it was horrible. And teachers were horrible. And parents also, I find myself that a lot of parents allowed teachers to do what they wanted to do to their kids because they felt their kids deserved it, or
it's a cultural phenomenon,
which is wrong.
Which is not actually unique to Nigerians. There are other cultures where, if you will, children are meant to be trained, almost like a dog. So apologies if this triggers anyone, but almost like a dog is meant to be trained. A dog has no emotions, no intellect, so we tell you what to do, and when we say sit, you sit. When we say lie down, you lie down. You're supposed to be seen, not heard. You are not supposed to be interactive intellectually. That's not what we require from you.
And I find myself that these days, because we're questioning stuff, there are a lot of people that are actually turning away even from religion because it's what they've been told. And they were not allowed to question stuff, so they don't know. I moved here and I removed the toga of religion. I threw it off. And I said, you know, I'm going to know God for me. Because you have a lot of people telling you, sorry, now I'm going off. There are a lot of people telling you can't question God. It's a lie. He's your father. If you can talk to your own parents and ask them questions, why can't you talk to God? That's your father in heaven. That made you.
But see, some people could not talk to their parents.
I know. But
when you don't have that relationship.
I was telling a friend, I said we can only know. I said, I don't know what the conversation was. Said we can't question God. I said, actually, that's a lie. If God is your parent, your father, you can question him.
Moses
just don't be disrespectful.
Yeah, Moses questioned God.
You are allowed to.
Why would you do such a thing?
Because you're allowed to. But you have things like that anyway. Back to school. So my brother is about 6 years or 7 years older than I am. And a teacher, God forgive me, every time I remember this or he mentioned this story, it makes me so angry. I don't know what he did. There was no reason for the teacher to say that. And the teacher told him that, excuse my language, because it's going to be very crass.
Okay.
Crass.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the teacher said that my brother is the small sheep that stains the bomb. So when someone goes to poo and they don't clean properly.
Wait. What's this context?
I don't know
why.
I don't know, but it's almost like you are a stain that cannot be removed. The teachers
are wicked.
Some of them were going through marital infidelity and they took out on children. Let us talk about these things.
Hurt people.
Oh my goodness. And a lot of the times they don't want to get away with it because you're not disciplining a child because you care about it. Discipline a child to be wicked. Intentionally wicked. We had one teacher, my home economics teacher, Hadia. I detested that woman. She hated children. I think she only liked you. She only liked you if you were Muslim. Sorry, I'm really sorry. You were Muslim or you were
sorry,
or you had money.
A school teacher who hated children.
Yes. So she picked on people that were not. That did not share the same religion.
Rationalize this.
Oh, there are people like that.
Why are you there?
And she was my class teacher at some point. Oh my goodness, she was evil. When I mean somebody's evil, she beat at every given chance. And my surname, I bear an Arabic name. So when you hear it, you think I am Muslim, but I'm not. So when you have yourself, no, I'm, because sometimes they actually put me down as Muslim and I say, no, I'm not. I'm not Muslim. It's almost like they start questioning you. But even as children, I don't know what to answer because I'm a child. I'm under 10. But the whole school experience, back to what I'm saying, wasn't a really very nice one. Secondary, primary, yes, maybe friends later after school or when we're all playing, being truants and just being silly. Yes. But the whole learning experience, it was horrible. And if I had an opportunity, I would not have gone to school because the teachers did not make learning fun. You had one or two that got the mission and made it a point of view to make learning experience fun. But out of every 10, only one or maybe half was reasonable. The rest were mad. And I went to a military secondary school and a lot of teachers were horrible. A lot of them.
But that's the lottery with school, isn't it? With mainstream education, and I'm not going to go into the nuances of why we decided to come out of it.
Yeah.
But with mainstream education, it's literally potluck. Sometimes you end up with a really good teacher, like you described. Sometimes you find your child gets on well or not, as the case may be with the teacher, like you just explained about your son who is a bit hesitant. But the key thing is your child is the constant, if you will, moving through the forms and the years. And in that sense, what we as parents would want and love to be able to instill into the child is you stay consistent. You know your identity. You know who you are and stick with it as you go through the different phases. Because teachers, is one element. What about the other children? The other children are one of the key issues I had with mainstream education, because you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what they're going through in their own homes.
Personalized, mental health.
That they then bring with them to school
as extra baggage.
And your child is there minding their own business.
And they bear the brunt of whatever it is you're going through in your personal life.
Honestly.
And it is very, very an uncomfortable truth.
Disconcerting.
And I actually don't even think that schools in Nigeria, maybe a few, are actually realizing that there's actually a big mental health challenge. It's something they talk about here in the UK, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But in Nigeria, it's not something that's spoken about. If you talk about mental health, you're mad, you're crazy, you belong in a psych ward.
It's not even that you're demonized.
Yes.
How many deliverance?
Yes. And so it's something that is trivialized in a very demonic and very oppressive and very suppressive and a very you can't talk. There's nothing normal about that. But people are going through it.
Well, one thing I think we want to encourage those of you listening to us, by the way, subscribe. Whatever platform you're listening to, subscribe. It helps grow and helps us continue doing what we are doing. So please do that. Now, one thing we want to encourage you, if you are the one going back to school, because we're talking pretty much primary, secondary school, but university students as well. Going back to school, and also parents who are preparing themselves for the onslaught of activity, emotional dealings you're going to have to do over the next few months, years, if not decades, depending on where you are in the system, is know yourself. And be intentional on how you want your child and yourself to experience education. Because we're talking mainly about the child now, but also as parents, we also experience the education as well. The number of times I have wanted to beat a teacher, I'm not proud of it because I'm a Christian woman. I am a Christian woman. But the anger that rose within me with the way I saw my child being dealt with made me realize that parts of me that God still has to deal with. So if we pause in terms of the children, let's talk about parents, because a lot of parents will be the ones listening to this.
But the thing is that I'm not going to blame you or hold it against you, because as a parent, your first duty is to protect your child.
I know.
They are entrusted
to the point of killing somebody else.
No. But your kids are entrusted in your hands for a reason. God gave you these children to look after, and you're not going to allow anybody. The way our minds were messed up as kids, you're not going to allow somebody to do that to your child. You wouldn't even do that to your own child.
Exactly that.
Not stranger.
Exactly that. But
my child will tell me that he's not going to tell me because then I'm going to get upset. I'm going to beat somebody up. But every time I say that, I'm going to beat somebody up. Literally. And he'll go like, no, I don't want to say anything. I said, well, I want you to tell me
much.
Than not tell me.
It was getting too much. So if I share a snippet of it, my eldest son, he is not diagnosed with anything, and we did go through that rigmarole because the teacher was convinced he had ADHD and a few other things.
Speak to label kids just because they don't understand them or they are not your cookie cutter set in the mold kind of kids. There's something wrong.
And because of his birthing experience and things like that, I had questions too that I wanted answered. So we went through the whole assessment. He had to have speech therapy at some point. Well, we'll go into that in another episode. So we went through it. Thankfully, he doesn't have ADHD. He's not autistic. There's nothing. He is just different. Different in the type of way. He's a genius, but the way he learns is different to other people.
And also the way he processes stuff is very different. And it's a unique thing. We all cannot process things the same way.
Exactly.
We're all different. And what makes us different makes us beautiful. And I just feel that a lot of the times, even as parents, we need to know that and embrace that and encourage that and enable
and also
enhance that.
And also build your knowledge about it, because we had to find a way to explain simple concepts to him that he gets. And the way he now processes it is like, whoa, where's that coming from? But that is one thing I think is different from our generation to our parents' generations, because we were entrusted to tutors, as you would call them in the UK. Lesson teachers is what we call them in Nigeria, where you leave it to the lesson teacher to educate. Oh, I just realized I was wearing my glasses, so I don't normally wear my glasses. I'll keep it on for this episode. But the point is, we cannot do passive parenting in this day and age, where it's someone else's responsibility to train the child academically. You have to get involved. Now, in terms of the interaction with the teacher, when we had that interaction, I don't know if it's the same for you now. We were very diligent in turning up to those parent-teachers meetings.
No, I don't miss it.
You don't
I always
with it.
I don't.
Because it's not until you get in there that you actually understand what you're now seeing at home.
Yes.
Because when we got there and they will say,
and also it's also a good opportunity for you to correct a notion that some teachers have.
Thank you.
Like I had a teacher that told me, because my son, if you accuse him of something he didn't do, he can actually start crying because he's frustrated you don't believe him. So I had to tell the teacher because when he says he didn't do stuff, and a lot of boys, because there were more girls than boys, and a lot of times the boys got into trouble, and my son was very different from a lot of them. They're all different, but he knew a way of trying not to get into trouble anyway. And so I had to tell her that if you accuse him of something he didn't do, he'll get upset and start crying. So you know that he's not lying. So I just want you to recognize that. You say, oh, she had no idea. But I think she was away with the fairies.
So, well, to be fair, a lot of them are overburdened as well, because well, in Nigeria, we're used to classes, huge classes. But
with two teachers,
exactly,
3, and then you have subject teachers that go from class to class. But here it's the
just
same
one
teacher that does everything,
and you could have up to 20 people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and that's a lot.
Yeah, so our school is a tiny village school, so there are only about 15 in the class, but it's 2 classes
That's
combined
rare.
in one, so that's 30.
That is
But
rare.
notwithstanding, it's one main teacher and an assistant, but it's still a lot.
When you go to those PTA meetings and they tell you, oh, your child is such a lively, joyful person, you know
that
you know the undertone.
they're turning him into a class clown.
No. So he's such a lively, lovely person, very respectful, and so on and so forth. But he has a problem focusing, and as a result, he needs extra help with maths. This is how it was phrased, and they must have a script they keep to.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
This is the way it was phrased. Only for us to discover during COVID, they were not even teaching him maths. They were putting him at the back of the class with about 3 others that were not focusing, and they could do arts and crafts whilst the others were being taught maths.
Which is a problem.
Please tell me, how is my child supposed to know 1 plus 1 is 2 when you are telling me you should go and draw at the back of the class?
Or learn anything.
I was so upset. And thankfully, this was the time. I say thankfully for the teacher. It was a Zoom PTA meeting because it was just as COVID hit. Because then they were trying to encourage us to start to homeschool. If you remember that period, I was so upset. I had to walk out of my own room in my own house and leave my husband with it, because the Nigerian in me was rising up. I was about to switch to Pidgin and Yoruba combined with English to say, who are your ancestors that you think you can do this to my own child, and not tell me until after the fact. So for a whole year, this boy was sitting at the back of the class. When we now started homeschooling him and we said, oh, we're going to do maths, times table, he will start to shake, physically shake. Like, what's going on? What's happened? And he was like, I can't do it. I'm not smart enough. Who told you that? Now, this is the interaction I'm saying between you, a parent, and the teacher. You almost have to be like this. Like, this person needs to be your best friend and be able to tell you things plainly, because they were speaking in coded language. I mean, I didn't understand, but now I now know. I now know the intricacies of what they're trying to tell you, but not tell you exactly. They're not trying to tell you. They will never say your child is dumb, because that's the difference between here and Nigeria. Nigeria, they'll tell you straight.
They'll say, they'll call you names.
Exactly. They won't tell you your child is dumb, but they will code how they tell you they do not believe they can help your child. And you need to now go and find a way. If you are sitting there passively thinking, oh, don't worry, it will get better, it won't though, because these people are doing something different when you are not there. So as a parent, you do need to be more in tune with what's going on in your child's classroom than your parents probably weren't as in tune. Some of us have been lucky. I won't say my parents were as involved as I am, but that's what they knew, to be fair. That's what they knew. That's what their parents did with them, and that's what they thought to do with us. But please, I beg of you, especially if you're in the UK and you have the opportunity to do so, get involved. Get to know your child's teacher. Get to understand the children they're interacting with, because that was another thing. There was this girl. And I say this with all respect, but this girl was loose.
She was in love with your son.
She was exposed to things she shouldn't have been exposed to.
That's what I find
at her age. Yeah. She must have seen some very explicit images of how things are done between a man and woman. This is me coding.
Yeah.
I am coding so that we are not pulled off YouTube or whatever. But what she was now trying to reenact with my child, hey Lord, I would have beaten her, but I can't. She's someone else's child. I now went to the teacher and now said, please, I need this child separated, from my child. They said, a lot of parents have come to say that that's why she's with currently on my child's table in school. So why is it my child you've chosen to be the one to keep her company? She said, well, that she'll have to escalate it to the head teacher, that she can't move her again. I was like, so I have been minding my own business too much in this situation, because my thought was, it was just him. She was targeted. But she had done this several times, and my child was the last stop. They didn't move him. They didn't move her. They didn't move her. So all this combined led up to where we are right now in terms of homeschooling. It's one of many factors. But the point is understanding the teacher, understanding the children surrounding your child should help you train your child and instill a sense of self-awareness as well as identity in terms of this is where you should be.
As well. Because I noticed that for my daughter, she's very and funny enough is what I noticed when she was in nursery. So she got to nursery and some two brothers, they were both in the same nursery, told her that she's not supposed to be here.
Because
I don't know. She remembered. She just walked away and then everybody wanted to play with her and they used to fight over her. And then those two brothers started joining into fights. And when they're fighting, she will leave everybody and go play on her own. But then even in school now, like today I asked her, oh, are you excited to see your friends? Because I didn't contact any of her friends in school. No, I didn't bother.
Oh, okay.
Because she wasn't really interested. And then she said, well, I had two friends in their own world, but it doesn't matter. I'm just excited to go back to school. And I was telling my son that I wish I had that confidence. Because I feel like I couldn't exist without having someone. So even if they were treating me a certain type of way, I was going to take it because they were my friends. It's really, really, really sad. And I wish I had, maybe I don't know if I ever talked to my mom. I can't remember. Maybe she gave me a pep talk. Maybe she didn't give me a pep talk. I don't know. But I can only talk based on my own experience with my own daughter. I'm very intentional about reinforcing who she is. Having that awareness, having that self-consciousness, having that confidence, embodying who she is and embracing that while celebrating her individuality. Like I find that in Nigeria, a lot of times, sorry, this is just a little bit off. If your child sees someone and you tell the child to go greet someone and the child doesn't want to greet, don't force them.
Don't.
Because you're making them feel like, also that their opinions don't matter. So they want to please. Because that's how it starts. Oh, Uncle said, put me on their lap. There's no need for that. If my child doesn't want to greet you, doesn't want to hug you, say hello. You should be okay with that. She's my responsibility. So I need to look out for her. So it's just little things, but she's very aware and I'm happy. And I pray that it continues as well. My son is getting to that point. But boys process things very differently and are very different with the way they catch on with a lot of things. So we are a work in progress, even for both of them. But I'm trying to encourage that individuality.
And that is where it starts. It starts as early as reception in the UK or primary one, even nursery actually, because in Nigeria is very academic forward. You know, they start to teach you all sorts, even in nursery. But it's very important to be intentional. And maybe we should record an episode on intentional parenting.
Yes. Yeah. I just thought about it, and also playground bullies. Let's talk about it. We need to say these things. Let's expose the things
that people... moms.
Tell me about it. I got carried away with that whole school gate mom thing in reception.
Drama.
And then not even drama. I thought they were my friends. Coming to my coffee and everything. And then when we left reception, I was on my own. I was just deceiving myself. So now I don't even bother. It's almost like as if I'm too cool for school, but yes, I am too cool for school.
Yes,
but I just cannot be bothered. I'm not going to invest in a relationship that I know is not going to go beyond these gates. So I've come to accept it. And just take it as what it is. But I got carried away. I didn't get sucked in with any drama. No, I am the drama, so you can't bring any drama to me.
Here's the drama. This is my good friend.
You can't bring any drama to me. So before you bring it, I will cut it. So nobody brings anything to me, so they don't involve me all that shit. I don't joke. I don't. So but notwithstanding, I just got carried away. I thought they were my friends. We're having coffee and breakfast. I was on my own. Seriously, it didn't go beyond the door. So now I don't even bother. So I've tried. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I'm not going to bother myself. Sometimes you find fella. I made one friend. She moved to South Africa. A very good friend. Our boys were friends. And then that relationship. And we continue. We're family. She comes to my house to stay. I stay in her house. So we're family. So
sometimes you find a gem.
So that one thing. So that's fine. But that was during my son's era in nursery. But for my daughter, there was no one.
on that note, we would wish you and bid you good luck in back to school.
Yes, and good success in the new year ahead.
Yes.
You will all be fine.
Exactly.
You will
And
all
we
be
pray
fine.
your
And our
children will thrive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and know themselves, and you also as parents will know your role, what your responsibility towards them in terms of bringing out the best in them, supporting them, and just being a great parent. So we'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
So cheers to a new term.
Yes, and enjoy. And please, please, please follow us. Keep encouraging us. Put questions in the comments as well.
Yeah.
We will try and do a Q&A, I'm sure, sometime soon.
Yes, or live. And if you would like us to talk about anything as well, you can put like a topic that's on your mind, put it down, and we'll see. Within reason, we will speak on it.
And thank you. Thank you for listening. Yes. So this has been Two Nigerian Women. My name is Ibukun.
And I remain Abidemi.
Take care.
Bye.
God bless. Bye. There we go. That was good, Sissy. Go on.